Live from a studio apartment, this is Misinformation. You can see the studio tonight. Too lazy to put up my backdrop. That's the backdrop, by the way. That's normally over here. Just sits on my wall, typically. Oh, we got a good show tonight. Three main topics. We got Candace Owens. Seems to be... Maybe. I don't think she actually will do it, but she seems to be accepting the debate terms from Andrew Wilson, except there's a little bit of a snag. So we'll go over that stuff. We got retarded black professors. Speaking of retarded Oprah, we got retarded black professor who was called out for plagiarism and apparently was maybe not so retarded after all. So we'll see what happened with him. And then liberal policies strike again. Another white woman puncher took place the other day, so we'll go over that story. But first, some jokes. One joke, really. Well, why did the chicken cross the road? Well, because there was a black guy walking towards it. Yeah. The chicken wasn't scared of the black guy, he just didn't want to get fried. It's a double racist entendre, if you think about it. That's difficult to do. The incredibly high-level racist joke there. It's a bummer, of course. This is our lead story tonight, so on a serious note, this came out in the news today. So apparently, this guy... Oh, let me pull up the... It would help if I had the internet up. This guy, Daquan Schaefer Hunt, was arrested after filming himself assaulting a white woman in Charlotte, North Carolina. It says here because she waved to him, but it's a little more of a story than that, so we'll get into it. Here's the assault, first of all, which is on video, which is pretty horrifying, actually. I'll let you guys watch.
Nah, don't wave to me. Fuck you, bro, nigga. Fuck you, bro. Nah, don't wave to me. Fuck you, bro, nigga. Fuck you.
So, I mean, he hits her pretty significantly. You can see right there in that video. There is a longer video, too, where he's, like, continuing to strike her while she's on the ground. It looks like she's completely knocked out. Now, in the headline there from Libs of TikTok, they're saying that it's because she waved to him, apparently. But this guy's filming ahead of time, right? He's not just happening down the street and then somebody waves at him and he loses it and strikes out. Not that that would be justified anyways, right? But this seems to be premeditated. And actually, when you dig into the guy's history a little bit more, turns out he is a repeat offender. Typical, liberal DA sort of story. It's a repeat offender, has a bunch of prior arrests, violent arrests, who's been let out over and over again. These are his mug shots here. They had a picture online of all the guy's prior mug shots. Oh, this isn't it. I wish I had them, but let's see if this is it. Well, he's got like a million different mug shots online for prior arrests that he's had. Here's Grok going over some of the previous charges that he's had. Daquan Schaefer, okay. So starting June 2019, discharging a weapon into occupied property. It's not so good. Particularly that it's occupied property. Felony probation violation, so I guess he was already on probation at that point. 2024, breaking and entering. 2025, simple assault and disorderly conduct at a terminal. So I don't know if that's at an airport or what happened there. He was convicted. Sentenced to 11 days in jail, time served, basically, and then the assault charge was dropped. November of 2025, assaulting an officer and resisting arrest. Convicted of the assault charge, sentenced to 6 days in jail. Well, he should have learned his lesson from that, but surprisingly, he got back out. December of that same year, second-degree trespass. Charges were just dropped on that one, no jail time. December 2025, later that month, assault with a deadly weapon, communicating threats, and 2 counts of carrying a concealed weapon. convicted in March of the assault with a deadly weapon and carrying the concealed weapon. This was a hefty sentence this time. Justice did finally reach him. He was sentenced to 89 days in jail, so just under 3 months, credited as time served while awaiting trial. So thankfully, he had lived out that sentence. By the time the case went to trial, he was able to get out and punch this white lady in the face. But apparently, I guess this is like a pattern of stuff that he's been doing. They have a bunch of pictures of his social media. Here's his Instagram account, for instance, okay? Where is it? It's Insta.
So dummy shit, bitch. You want
Still gonna stick a broomstick up your ass while you run. I posted you with a run your ass that way. Stick a broomstick up your ass, nigga. While you still running, I'm still posting you, and I'm still in real life. This ain't no fake shit. Fucking what's it called? Day, media day. Stick a broomstick up your ass, and I'm gonna post you again in the next post after this. Stick a broom.
so
So this, if you're not counting, is a different white lady that he, I guess, tried to hit in this case. Maybe he did hit. It's unclear if he hit her or what happened. I guess she ran away.
shit, bitch. You want
And then he's posting this stuff online, these crazy threats about violating her with the broomstick. Super violent person, and obviously incredibly racist. You can hear him talking there specifically about...
Still gonna stick a broomstick up your ass while you run. I posted you with a run your ass that way. Stick a broomstick up your ass, nigga. While you still running, I'm still posting you, and I'm still in real life. This ain't no fake shit. Fucking what's it called? Day, media day. Stick a broomstick up your ass, and I'm gonna post you again in the next post after this. Stick a broomstick up your stank ass and run, motherfucker. I can't wait to you stink, and you sweaty stink white motherfucker. Stick a
Right there, you see? So, I mean, number one, shouldn't this be a hate crime? I don't know what the charges are so far against him. We just saw his previous charges, which were essentially, I mean, they've been hitting this guy with pretty much everything. Assault with a deadly weapon, second-degree trespass, assaulting an officer. How do you assault a police officer, resist arrest, and get sentenced to 6 days in jail? You know? But these should be hate crime charges. And, I mean, there's a couple of things here. It's... Okay. So, number one, they already put him in a medical facility, okay? So it's already, he's in a medical facility being evaluated. What they're going to do is pretty much the same thing they do with all these cases, where they take him in, they evaluate the guy, and they determine that he's crazy, and so he can't be held responsible for his actions, right? He does sound a little bit crazy in this video, right? When he's talking, I mean, he's going off about the broomstick, this and that. Maybe he's a little bit crazy. I think in these cases, number one, when somebody's a repeat offender and they're on video, it's pretty plain and simple. They're punching somebody violently in the face like that, like a defenseless woman. Don't you think there should be just like an automatic terminate button? Shouldn't we just be able to skip trial and be like, yeah, we just are going to execute this one? I mean, it seems like there should be a route when somebody's just lowering society completely, a total threat to society, and you have everything on video. And then if you're going to make the case that he's crazy, right? You could say, oh, well, maybe we just remand him to a medical facility for the rest of his life. But the problem with that is whenever you do those things, they're eventually going to reevaluate him. They're going to determine from the love of their liberal hearts that he's ready to re-enter society and he's no longer a threat and he's going to do the same thing, right? So it's almost like even if you're crazy, even if you're schizo and you're doing this stuff, isn't it just more merciful to kill you anyways? Isn't it just better for everyone involved, including that person who obviously is of no worth to society, no worth to himself? I mean, how good could his life possibly be if he's just online posting this type of garbage, if that's like his main thing in life, right? it's sort of merciful to just take him out. Obviously, I'm not suggesting that people do that. I'm just saying there should be some type of an expedited process for getting people like this removed from society that are just total weights on society. There's no need to go through the whole process and everything, you know? Let's see, what's this say? This is just somebody going over. I think this is a little longer.
You wanna run, bitch? You wanna run, motherfucker? Huh? Huh? I bet you run again, motherfucker. I bet you run again, motherfucker. You said something else? You said something? You said something, motherfucker? You said something? Keep playing, nigga. Keep playing, nigga. Keep fucking playing, nigga.
You just gotta take that guy out. You gotta remove him from society completely. I don't care if he's crazy or not. Just get rid of him.
What's up with that McDonald's shit? You Donald Trump, motherfucker.
The other thing to point out is this is, you know, when you have crazy people like that, part of what is fueling this, obviously, is the past 8 years of Democrat propaganda, frankly. You know, you can see he's basically regurgitating word for word Democrat sort of propaganda that white people are bad. Trump is a Trump white person. He believes he's supposed to hate those people, and he believes that he's going to get social credit for posting videos of himself online punching them, right? Which he did get some likes on some of those Instagram videos, right? But that's why he's doing this. He's not doing it because he thinks he's going to get in trouble for it. He's doing it because he thinks he's doing a good for society. Because by Democrat propaganda, he is, right? So they're definitely partially to blame for all this stuff. Outside of the DAs just releasing him, they kind of provoke it in the first place. Yeah, so that's that guy. Oh, man. The stories tonight are just ridiculous. This was another one that I saw today. I guess this guy, I've never heard of him before, but I guess he was a big story a little while ago. What's his name? Audrey, let me find it. Jason Ardays. So I guess the deal with him was, this is a guy from like the very woke kind of, between COVID and 2024, there was this like very woke period of time where liberals were really like propping up like black professors, you know? And I know there was another guy. Who was the guy, the racist, anti-racism professor? Kendi, isn't that his name? Who was like a big liberal paragon for a while. This guy was one of the like big bright stories of liberalism. He was an autistic. The story was he was an autistic black man who became the first professor at Cambridge University. Okay, huge success story. He was championed amongst liberals. He was actually writing a tell-all book, right? Or not a tell-all, but an autobiography. That's how successful he was. And then it came out that that his thesis that he'd written was largely plagiarized, okay? And then as people started to look into his backstory, they started to find that things didn't exactly add up. He doesn't have the history that he had. These are some examples of things that he was trying to include in his initial memoir, okay? One story that he tried to include was that he experienced locked-in syndrome for several months after being hit by a car. Doctors advised his family to have the life support machine turned off, but he awakened miraculously. He's supposedly also been struck down by testicular cancer, though this changes in the book to brain cancer. So apparently when the book came out, the type of cancer that he was pitching to the publisher changed by the time it got to publish. He's been beaten up by a group of kids and then in court pled with the judge not to jail them. Coincidentally, 2 of the kids later became his students, and Arday became godfather to the child of one of them. He aborted a suicide attempt on a bridge after listening to an Eagles song. He's been awarded several accolades, of which no proof exists at all. He was told by a shaman woman in Brazil that he would suffer greatly but also do great things. Every event she described has since come to pass, he wrote. So apparently the university, Cambridge University, forced his hand. He resigned today and withdrew from the university because apparently his entire thesis was plagiarized. His entire book is just made up. His memoir is completely fabricated. They're not even sure if this guy's retarded anymore. That was his whole thing. He was a retarded black man who became a college professor. That is the highest level shaman that you can become in liberalism. That's like the final boss level. Incredible. It just makes me laugh because there was a time amongst liberals where all you had to do to be like a famous black professor championed by liberals was just to show up at a university and tell them like a bunch of stories about stuff you'd done and none of it was true. This isn't the only guy who's done that. There was another guy too who did the same thing and got fired from this other university, like a championed black professor who was like, I think he was also like his visa had expired, the other guy, and so he was kicked out for an immigration violation as well. But his whole backstory turned out to be fake too. You just show up and tell them and they're like, okay, cool, great. Oh, this is the Candace Owens news today. So last night we went over on the show Candace Owens. So Andrew Wilson is trying to get Candace Owens into a debate with him. Now, Candace had accepted provisionally the debate, but she had some stipulations, the last one of which was that Turning Point USA had to sponsor Andrew in the debate, which I said was a potential poison pill from Candace, okay? The thinking being, if she could get TPUSA to sponsor Andrew Wilson in the debate, then that would weaken any future defamation claims they might have against her, right? Because then when they go to court and try to sue Candace for defamation for all the crazy stuff she's been saying, she could just come back and say, oh no, they participated in that debate. They actually paid one of the debate participants, so they were aware of what would be discussed in that debate. They consented to the public discussion of those topics, and they were a willing participant, right? So I do still think that's why she was trying to include that clause into it. Andrew came back and said, oh, I can't do it. I don't work for TPUSA, apparently. But anyway, surprisingly to me, she did accept his initial offer of $300,000 to do the debate. But since that time, they've been going back and forth on the proposed debate terms with some interesting new caveats from Candace. Let me see if I can find it here. This isn't it. Let me go to Andrew Wilson's. Okay, so here's the current sticking point on the debate and whether or not they're actually going to meet up. Candace has now stipulated, it's about the structure of the debate. Candace wants to stipulate the structure of the debate so that there are two parts. It begins with Andrew Wilson having to defend his claim that there's overwhelming evidence that Tyler Robinson was the killer of Charlie Kirk, okay? Then Candace says, point two, the second part of the debate will be are the alternative theories presented by Candace regarding Charlie's assassination viable, right? So the whole thing was Andrew Wilson was trying to press on her, hey, I'll agree to all this stuff. I just want you to agree that we're not just debating whether or not the prosecution's case against Tyler Robinson makes sense. What we're debating are your claims about the case, right? That's what he was pushing back on. She's coming back and she is wording it very carefully to where she's saying, the bar for him is at point one is basically to prove that Tyler Robinson did it beyond a reasonable doubt, right? The bar for her in point two is just to prove that her theories are viable, meaning, hey, could this stuff be possible? Which is a totally weak point. Like, if you're reading this, you can see exactly where she's going with it. The structure of this debate makes it so that she doesn't actually have to defend her claims at all. She just has to defend the fact that, hey, it's possible. It's the same thing as her asking questions, right? Hey, I'm just asking questions. Just asking questions. It sort of reminds me of whatever happens whenever somebody sues her, right? All of a sudden she morphs from being an investigative journalist to just a social media commentator, right? Because at the end of the day, she's not going to really back up any of her claims. I think she knows she can't really back up any of the claims. And so she's trying to get him to agree to this debate structure. So that's where it stands currently, is Andrew Wilson's pushing back on that and saying he wants a structured debate where, here's his last pitch. He says, all evening, the Candace Owens people have been saying she makes no claims, so she doesn't have to defend any. They claim I said there was overwhelming evidence for the prosecution of Robinson, which is true. I said that, so I need to defend it. However, Candace did make a reverse claim. She said there is overwhelming evidence Robinson was set up by the feds as a patsy.
Person told me that the bomb dogs couldn't find it. How can you sit back and pretend that you are like a friend of Charlie Kirk because you're trying to get a patsy put into prison? Like, you guys are completely monstrous in pretending that you're on the side of morality. There was an overwhelming amount of evidence that the feds set this kid up as a patsy.
So that's her claim, right? Andrew says, so I will take the position that the evidence is more compelling that Tyler was a lone shooter, not set up by the feds. She takes the position of her claim, which she says has overwhelming evidence he was a patsy put there by the feds. If she agrees, then we are all set. How the hell can anybody argue against me here, he says, right? So this is a good structure. This makes sense to me. But highly unlikely that Candace is ever going to agree to anything like this. Because I don't believe that she wants to actually debate the merits of her claims. To me, she doesn't have a news show. She has what's essentially a murder mystery show, which presents almost a fan fiction account of things, which is fun. And she's very entertaining. And if you're a fan of conspiracy theories and murder mysteries, which most people are, and you like that sort of stuff, you probably enjoy her show. Right? But part of keeping her audience engaged is never having to actually defend those claims. You'll see that pattern with her where when one of her claims is exposed as being false, like the Egyptian planes tracking log stuff that, people exposed, oh, you're just looking at the data wrong. She never circles back to it, acknowledges she's wrong, moves on, because that would undermine her credibility. Instead, she just moves on to an even bigger, bolder, more absurd claim and then digs in on that one. So she gets people talking about the new claim, forget about the old one. She definitely does not want to go before a guy who knows how to debate, who's pressing her on the Egyptian planes and making her admit that she got it wrong, right? So if she can structure the debate so that she just has to prove that her claims are viable, she would much prefer to do that and probably wants to collect on that $300,000. So, those are the big stories from tonight. We got some science. This was a science article, too, that I saw earlier, which I thought was kind of cool. So the original tweet that caught my attention is somebody saying, we are all in a simulation being projected on the 2D event horizon of the black hole that gave birth to us in our parent universe. Okay, what does this mean? It was actually the original tweet that he's referencing is a lot more interesting. It's referencing a scientific paper, which I think is just a theory from people kind of theorizing some stuff. They're talking about basically black holes and how they believe black holes are like big interstellar quantum computers, essentially. So what they're saying is like, SETI was formed several years ago. It's like the search for extraterrestrial life. We're looking up into the stars, trying to see like civilizations, right? One of the civilization types that you might expect to see, I forget what it's called, but it's like a type 4 civilization or something like that. The idea is like once a civilization technologically progresses past a certain point, it's going to need more energy for more computers, right? the whole basis is that like the progress of a civilization can always be measured in its compute power. Okay, so the stronger, faster, more computers a civilization has, the further along it is technology-wise, right? So in order to power all that stuff, you need what's called a Dyson sphere, which is where theoretically, if we get to a point where we need a ton of energy, we build an entire sphere around the Earth itself, and then eventually around the sun, to harness all of the solar energy. I think it's maybe around the sun or something, right? That's the Dyson sphere, right? So you have SETI that's looking up into the stars for all these Dyson spheres around planets. It's not seeing any spheres around planets, right? Well, what if this paper theorizes those spheres that you do see throughout the universe, we call them black holes. What if those are just giant quantum computers? What if civilizations progress to the point where their computing power is on an interstellar scale, right? You need to create something as massive as a black hole to get the computational power you need to further your civilization, right? And then what would be happening is within each of those black holes, what would happen within the black hole? It would sprout off a computer simulation. So you know how people always talk about, oh, you go, like our universe is in a black hole somehow, or black holes create universes. That's like one of the theories you always see floating around. This ties it back to computing, right? You have these large supercomputers, essentially, which are black holes, which run simulations, right? Which within themselves run simulations all the way down. And Elon Musk had a funny comment. He says, everything is computer, which is Trump's famous line when he was like getting into Tesla. He was like, everything is computer. So that was kind of a cool theory. I like that theory. A little terrifying also, but yeah. I guess that's where we'll end tonight. Maybe we're inside of a giant black hole that's actually a computer and everything is computer. That was misinformation